one of the character areas of Lincoln. The area is on the eastern side of the city centre and occupies the steepest part of the North Escarpment slope. It stretches from Flaxen Gate in the west, passing from the busy city centre through the Museum and Art Gallery quarter by Temple Gardens and ending in the more residential area bordering on Upper Lindum Street in the east. To the north, it is largely contained by the south wall of the Cathedral Close, and most of its southern side is bounded by Lindum Road, a busy inner-city bypass. In comparison with other parts of the city centre, Lindum Hill has a lot of open space, particularly in Temple Gardens. The area straddles the line of the eastern walls of the Lower Roman city. In the east part of Temple Gardens, massive earthworks and a small section of wall survive from this period, and the lower part of Lindum Road itself follows the course of the same ditch, now infilled. After a period of decline between the 5th and the 9th centuries, Lincoln entered a more prosperous period, which lasted until around 1350 AD. Much of the city was reorganised and rebuilt. In the Lindum Hill area, this involved the creation of a number of new roads, including a group around Flaxen Gate and Danesgate, and Pottergate at the top of the hill, which provided a connection with an area of potteries to the northeast of the city. This was long before Lindum Road was created, but Lindum Road partly follows the alignment of medieval Pottergate. Around the turn of the 13th and 14th centuries, the cathedral area to the north of Lindum Hill was provided with a massive close wall. The southern part of this wall marks much of the northern boundary of our area. Two medieval gates through the close wall still survive. Pottergate Arch, at the top of Lindum Road, was constructed as a new east gate to give access between the close and the city. It continued in this way until the mid-19th century, when buildings to the south were removed, so that traffic could pass around the arch. If you're feeling energetic, there's a second medieval gateway into the Cathedral Close found at the top of Greystone Stairs, which start about halfway up Lindum Hill. The key turning point in the area's evolution, which has strongly affected its modern character, came around 200 years ago. The impetus came from the construction of Lindum Road, which was at that time called New Road. If you look carefully, the old name for the road is still visible on number 22 at the top of the hill. The New Road was originally a turnpike road, providing a bypass between the northern and southern parts of the city, a function it still fulfills today. Lincoln was expanding at this period, and buildings were quick to appear along Lindum Road itself. Properties are generally large in scale and take advantage of the wide southerly prospects. The slope of the road gives a very characteristic rising building line to some of them. Properties are quite typical of their period of construction, plain and symmetrical in style, with a few loosely classical decorative features, such as door surrounds and canted bay windows, which rise to different heights up the tall facades of buildings. It's plain to see that this was an exclusive place to have a house. The houses are set back slightly from the pavement, with small forecourts to the front. The majority of the windows have kept their original sliding sash windows with single or multiple panes. Temple Gardens date from the same period. A small Greek Revival temple survives here, dating from 1834, a relic of the time when this was a pleasure garden, which you had to pay to enter. The Lincoln University College of Art and Design occupies a prominent south-facing position in Temple Gardens. Now known as the Greystone Centre, it was originally built in 1893 as the Christ's Hospital Girls' School. It's in a Renaissance revival style, highly decorated with terracotta ornament, including moulded bands, friezes and gable and eave detail. The architect was William Watkins, well known in Lincoln for several works in a similar style. During the early 1920s, the city had the chance to buy Temple Gardens, using a bequest from James Usher, a wealthy city goldsmith. To house Usher's remarkable art collection, they created at the centre of the new public park the Usher Gallery, designed by Sir Reginald Blomfield and opened in 1927. The gallery was designed to maximise wall space inside for hanging pictures, which naturally leads to a rather blank exterior. To compensate, the walls are highly decorated with neoclassical features, such as these ox's skulls, sometimes called bucrania, a motif of classical architecture, reintroduced in the late 18th century. More recent development has mainly been concentrated in the southwest of the area. In the 1960s, land between Flaxingate and Danesgate was cleared of housing to create a multi-storey car park and the building of Crown House. The car park was demolished in 2003 to make way for the distinctively modern museum building of the Collection, part of Lincoln's cultural quarter, which also includes the Usher Gallery. The pavements and road surfaces in this part of the area were the subject of a major refurbishment, completed in 2008. This area was chosen because of its medieval pattern of narrow streets, surviving from the time when this part of the escarpment was a busy area of markets and houses. Modern buildings include the apartment blocks below Greystone Terrace and the extension to the Lincoln Minster School, which dominates its corner position at the top of Lindum Hill. These modern buildings differ from those surrounding them, particularly in the way they aim to keep their occupants safely away from the road, by positioning of entry doors and a deliberately deeper setback from the footway. Perhaps this is a consequence of all the traffic that now uses the road. The high levels of traffic it carries today were never envisaged in the late 18th and 19th centuries. This video is one of a series exploring the sense of place of the many distinctive areas of the city of Lincoln. Explore the Heritage Connect website to find out more about this or other areas of the city. As well as many videos, you'll find a huge amount of further information there. But best of all, wherever you are, keep your eyes open for more clues to the city's fascinating history.